It's getting pretty shaggy back there. Box of Oreos on my desk.
You know what? I really like. I always think of this when you show up because like over your right shoulder, I believe, or it might be your left shoulder. There's some like circular. You know what? I really like.
It's a chair.
Show up because like over your right.
Is that shoulder, me feedback or?
There's some like circular. You know what? I really like. I would
chair.
Show up because like over your right.
Yeah, it's a web back chair.
Yeah, sorry about that. You'd think I'd been only doing this for like every single time, man. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, but it looks like a nether portal or something.
I assure you, it is not. It is a fairly harmless dining room chair that I brought in to show somebody stuff in here.
So I had an interesting day. Not everybody in my house is crazy about the fact that I am sometimes playing video games, which is interesting. But I went for a walk today, and I was talking to the missus about the something I built in the game last night. And she actually looked around the station we were in. She's like, "This looks like your game world." I took a picture and posted it in the Telegram channel, and it like totally looked like the game world. It was awesome. I want to build it in there somewhere. So we're here today. We've got an interesting show, like a lot of stuff maybe to cover. I'm not really sure how long it's going to take. It might take a while actually, but we got a couple things in the agenda. You all know Greg, our good friend on this channel. He's here often with us, or sometimes by himself. You should know Dwayne by now, who is from CSX and parcel why this event, DACathon event, exists. And hopefully you've seen him speak because, we have some really interesting conversations, both on and off camera. One of my, favorite people to talk to actually in the space because we kind of come from a similar headspace. And for the first time ever on this show, anyway, is Seppuku 18, which is kind of associated with Upland. And you've probably seen some of our shows with Upland previously. We really like what's going on. So today's theme shows, we might have one more person joining us a little bit later, but today's theme shows are two things. First of all, we're gonna talk about gaming tours. These are starting to kind of become a thing, right? Like Seppuku 18 gives tours of Upland, and Greg will be giving, and has done already, but we'll be giving more tours of the Uplift world. So that's pretty cool. I want to also shout out a few people. We're going to do the gratitude ceremony in a minute, but if you guys could share this link around on YouTube. We're not going to listen to this whole thing because it's a little bit long. But like, in my opinion, this is just absolutely awesome. And this came to us from Nichiren. If you, let me find it here. So actually, while I find this, you guys want to maybe give your, I think Greg and Dwayne, they know you, but Seppuku 18, do you want to maybe give a quick introduction, who you are, where you're from, what speaks to you, and I'll find this little soundbite.
Sure. I am Seppuku 18 in Upland. That's Nichiren, and I have Upland Nights, and we basically cover where the party's at, right? Everything entertainment, everything music. We consider ourselves facilitators of kindness, so we like getting artist names out there and musicians' names out there. So we translated our tours into a way to celebrate their art by helping them promote their pack openings and things like that.
Wonderful. I have not been in Upland. I have no experience in that world. And watching, this with you, and then also watching what the Red Door group is doing in our community cluster. Now I kind of want to go experience that. So I think you'll probably be seeing me for a tour before long. I'm giving a tour on Sunday here in the Uplift world for Blue, who's one of the founders of this project, and a whole bunch of dignitaries and VIPs, which is something that I haven't had to do before. So I'm not joking when I say I got to clean the office up, because I'm gonna have to wear a shirt with buttons on it. It's very fancy for me. I usually, schlepping around in a t-shirt, but super excited. Like I wasn't nervous until they, Blue. I'm used to seeing Blue in the world and doing that kind of stuff, but a whole bunch of VIPs, and I'm like, VIPs, but what are you gonna do? Jimmy, you got it set up?
Yeah. So speaking of Nichiren, we're just gonna do this because this is we're not gonna do the whole thing, but it's pretty sweet actually.
Nasty looks human logistics. Uploading DNA sequence. Minting NFT. You are no longer fungible. Please select destination. Destination selected. Uplift World. Please sit back and enjoy your commute. The Nasty Hooks is not responsible for any loss of eyesight due to face melting.
That is really amazing. Jimmy, you're muted. I don't know if you know that or not, but
yeah, we might play a little bit more of that later, but it's really long, and I really just want you guys to like crank it up and experience it for yourself. But that's like my favorite, like that's the best intro of all time. Destination, the Uplift World.
I like that they're not responsible for loss of eyesight due to face melting. I thought that was pretty pretty good.
So he might come on and join us later. So as we do, we are going to go into the Uplift world, and we're going to do some gratitudes this morning. And actually, a couple really cool things came out from the community. So we have one special request gratitude, which we're going to do first. However, before we get to that, I just want to shout out the community in general. And there's some really cool people in there, and the gratitudes, as Greg knows, they're a little bit short because they've got to fit on the sign and got to fit within the spacing on the sign. But recently, we've been having a lot of people come in actually to the Telegram channel and give their gratitudes out, even in there in the morning. And I think that's really cool. And I'm quite new to this. Greg has been here from the beginning, doing gratitudes for a long time. So I just want to shout out one of the community members who came in, because this really brightened my day, and I know it brightened up a few other days. So you can search for it. You can find the person's name in there, but I'm just going to read it out without their name because I think it's really cool. Good morning, Uplifters. Today I'm grateful for my children who keep me motivated to do and be better. My 9-year-old woke up super early to see me before I had to go to work today, as I'm often gone 13 to 14 hours out of the day and get very little time during the week. Oh, and he also wanted to know if it was his birthday yet. So I got dressed quickly, and we sat on the couch and snuggled for a bit, and he told me that he loves me and misses me. Unbeknownst to him, I'm up extra early this morning to do some admin stuff for a new job that will afford me significantly more time with him and his siblings. So I guess I'm grateful this morning for my new opportunities and doors opening as well. And I thought, this is just really cool what's happening here in this Uplift world that we've built. But it's kind of transcending the Uplift part of it. And now it's become almost a thing that people pop into the community channels and do, which I think is really cool because we're getting more and more and more of these. So just shout out to everyone who, keeps it positive. We had a really nice debate yesterday on a topic in the community. And usually when debates happen in crypto, they go nuts. People get super angry and stuff. But it was a fun debate. It ended with me body slamming Michael USA in fun and jest. But it was really, or he body slammed me. I'm not sure which one of the ones I was in that picture. But anyway, it's a really fun community, and it's because of these people popping in and saying good morning and these gratitudes and stuff like this that I think it works, and it's awesome.
Was that the conversation about rewards?
Yes.
Or the Genesis NFT use and stuff like that?
Yeah, the Genesis and the NFT.
Interesting.
And yeah, it was it was a really interesting conversation because there's a bunch of different takes, right? And you could go either way, right? Like, who do you reward and how are people rewarded? And you know, our good friend Corey, he's not here today, but he always says, right, like, he's like, this is my idea, but I'm okay to be proven wrong. Like, if other people, and I mean, eventually we're probably going to be looking for a DAC structure and stuff like that.
I would say I've known Corey outside of this project for almost 7 years now. And that is his operating mode in every situation. You know, show me I'm wrong, I won't get mad, but you have to show me that I'm wrong. That's the thing, is that he requires some pretty stringent proof. So
yeah, 100%.
That's a kind of humility that lots of folks don't have. It's kind of ego destruction that many people don't practice. And I love that about my friend Corey. And you know, we've been doing this together for a long time. I actually have the screen pulled up. I'm at the Generrios gratitude monument now. So
yeah, I see you there. Do you want to maybe? I was going to ask you, like, do you want to maybe clean up the?
I can do that. Yeah, let me share the audio too to make sure we have it correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there we go.
I inadvertently forgot my mouse pad.
I got you. And I've got signs in hand. So why don't we start with who's
okay? Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
In the feed with us.
You can probably see me if you turn around there. I think I'm in there, but yeah, it's okay. I'll just. I was
trying not to show off the monument until we the mountain until we want to reveal it. So, Jimmy, what are you grateful for?
It's really interesting. No, just wait. I'm not going to do me first. I'm going to do somebody else first.
Okay.
But it's really interesting to see this with the shaders on. So yeah, we have a special request, and this is from a boy who just really wants to be on a monument, and the same person actually who we just read the thing from at the beginning of the show. So he asked, when we all do the gratitude ceremony, would we be willing to give his son Liam a shout out? It's his 10th birthday, remember? Yeah, woke up and asked about his birthday. And he would really think it's really awesome to get a birthday shout out. So I'm grateful for Liam becoming 1 year wiser.
Okay, so Jimmy is grateful for it. That's where we're starting, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure.
So, well, I guess Anders doesn't know that we're live streaming. He just boxed me in with lava or something for Liam.
Becoming 1 age wiser.
1 year wiser. Yep.
1 year wiser.
Got it.
And I want to do one more too. This is I'm Anders.
Damn it, Anders.
All
right, go ahead.
So one more is I'm grateful for amazing parents, because I think this is really important. And I guess Sepiku, as the guest of honor, if you don't know what happens, we put gratitudes on these monuments every day. Would you have something that you might feel grateful for today that you'd like to have encased in glass in the middle of the ocean that can only be built with creative mode?
Wow. I'm just hearing all these stories. It's my birthday next week. I am also grateful for growing a year older. I won't put that. And sadly, I am a grown person, and my father sent me Animal Crossing and a Nintendo Switch for my birthday, and I was elated. So I can understand.
Grateful for gifts from my father? Is that no? Okay, well, I'm writing the sign, so let me know what you want.
I'm grateful for every beautiful day I get to go outside after quarantine.
Nice.
Sure. Okay.
There we go.
Dwayne, what do you got for us? These shaders are super cool, by the way. I like it.
We're kind of transitioning in DACathon from all the discussions to the beginning of the DACathon portion. So I want to stick with that tune and say I'm grateful for all the DACathon participants. I have a lot more. I just want to just shout out. We have a weekly call for Crown Community every Thursday. It's been the same time for 2.5 years. And yesterday's, Lisa took notes, and it's about 3 pages long. And you can't write all this, but I just want to, once again, from that meeting, it was community members coming together and being vulnerable, really vulnerable, and sharing really important life, experiences. And it was just full of love. And if you can go to the Crown Telegram and just see, some of the things that we were really emphasizing, what's important. And it was grateful for people being vulnerable and sharing. And some of the things that came out of that meeting were just incredible. Some of them were, we were in the right place at the right time. It's really long. And then the last thing was, enjoy the ride. So I just, it still really touches me. We had goosebumps, we had crying, we had, it was just really, really important. And when we really got down to the nitty gritty, it wasn't about, NFTs and tech and anything. It was about people being vulnerable and in that vulnerability, just being themselves. So I guess I'll save that for the next gratitude, but people just being themselves was the most gratifying. Anyways,
nice.
Thanks for that little rant.
Oh, it's okay. We're getting used to them. We like it. We got 2 more, actually, Greg, if you don't mind. Lisa Chandler, grateful for a full night of sleep. I know she's been working super hard, scheduling stuff all over the map. She's been doing an awesome job. So it's good to see that she's still catching up on her sleep. And I got one more as well.
Hey.
There's a caveat here, and I have no qualms doing this right now. But I'm just gonna say, I'm grateful to have my dear friend and co-host back next week. Corey will be back next week. He'll be, as Lisa said, probably fully refreshed from his vacation time. I know he's in the comments today, but he's also, popping in and out and around, and we're, trying to give him some time to, people need time. I think we sometimes forget this, right? We sometimes get locked in our own little world, and it's good to reset. But I'm super excited to go to the next level next week, because we got some really cool things coming up after the DACathon as well on this show. So Mrs. NEO, I like it. That's awesome. Okay, so Greg, I guess maybe we should start with Seppuku 18 and hear about her tours maybe, and then we'll move into what you have planned, and then Dwayne's gonna lead us out with kind of a brief intro to the hackathon. So Seppuku 18, I don't know that much about it, but I heard that you've been doing these tours for quite a while. You've been taking people around up the Upland world. Yeah, could you please kind of introduce what's happening over there and what you do, and yeah, give us all the goods.
Yes, absolutely. One thing we're good at Upland Nights is bringing people together to have a good time, just enjoy themselves. And one of the things we did was pub tours, because if you don't know the mechanisms of the game, getting around the map is not easy to do if you don't have an address or a place to go. You're just bobbing around in your little explorer. So a group of us decided, why not bob around all together and find interesting places, because I think that Upland it lends to that. You're learning about the city you're building and building in, and you're getting all these collections. These are really cool places. And it occurred to me that there's so many awesome pubs that I've visited in San Francisco, the starting city. And so we did a little pub tour. We had 30, maybe 45 people join us on that one. We weren't in the game at that point, as in we weren't sanctioned by the game. And then they came to us, Upland came to us and said, how would you like to do this? You dug out all these facts every time. How would you like to do this with a game? And we're all about that. We're about bridging that gap between community and the blue boxes. We call them blue boxes. And it's about the people. And so we said, what a great way to get more people on board, getting more people's properties visited. And the awards would be NFTs that we get from artists. We have star cards, blockchain heroes. We're having Ultra Horror come, Exit Limbo. Great. And they're all in Uplift, actually. Some great artists. And our last tour was 687 people inside the game. It marks our third tour. Our second one was movie tours. So we toured around
the movie locations. And then our tour after that was serial killers, because there's a lot of interesting stuff that went on in the 70s in San Francisco, if you know anything about it. So we toured places like where the Zodiac killer, his victims were, things like that. And it was just one of those ways to become part of the game. And so I think a lot of people enjoyed that. We gave a lot of prizes away, NFTs. We got a lot of artist names out there, as well as music. Nasty Hooks, we're just playing them. They should feature on our next tour. And Ultra Rare, the horrors, will be part of our next tour, which is going to be A Hero is Drawn. It will be all things comic books in San Francisco, my favorite.
Yeah, it's interesting because you brought up some. We had a show a couple days ago, I guess. Greg shows how to all like make an NFT, and then after Greg tuned out, we had a little bit of a chat.
We made fun of Greg for a half hour because he was really bad at it. No, that's not what happened. Okay,
that's not what happened. We had a little bit of a chat about like some of our favorite projects, NFT projects, in the space, and the horrors came up. Like a few of the projects that you mentioned came up as well. So yeah, it's cool. And like you said, like in the comments, an Upland. An Upland pub crawl sounds messy. I think it's actually quite great. You know, like that's a really interesting idea. And like you said, like I was actually in the Upland channel today, because I listened to this incredible podcast by Crypto Writer, and I suggest that you all go and check it out. I'll put it up on the screen at some. Oh no, I can put it up here. Yeah, I'll put it up on the screen. But yeah, it's well worth checking this podcast out. It was really well done. There we go. What's happening? I'll drop the link in the comments. It was Aidan Zuckerman, Upland Metaverse, talking about all things Upland with Jillian Godsill to discuss, everything about it. So, like you said, I was in there today, and there was a lot of like really cool, insights on that podcast, Crypto Writer podcast. So definitely check it out. I'll drop it in the comments now. But there's a lot of people in the game, and a lot of times people don't know their way around. So I think it's a really good way to like get people to just follow around and do these things. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Were you looking for me? I'm sorry.
No, Sepiku 18. So.
Oh, no. Well, yes, I appreciate that opinion. And it's very true. And one of the things that I think is the most important about it, and Lisa and I were talking about this the other day, is it was about the community building something inside of the game. It wasn't part of the mechanism of the game, but it was about people in the community coming together, networking together to create this world around the game. And I think that anyone can do that. Upland's very kind that way. They'll let you do, well, not whatever you want, but within limit. They will take ideas and they will integrate them into the mechanism of the game for you, because they believe in the community too. So I know that you have your Uplift tours, and that sounds awesome as well. And it sounds like it's all about the community coming together. And I just think that's great. We transcend blue boxes. That way we transcend blocks, right? We are people.
Well, and I think this is, like, you brought this up. This is a really important aspect, I think, of one of the great things that Upland actually did from the beginning is they always kind of, like you said, looked out and respected the community. And a lot of really interesting things that came out of Upland, I think, like maybe some of the sandbox wars and stuff like that were kind of initiated, like the CryptoKitty stuff. And like you said, you weren't part of Upland, but now you are, right? And you just went in there. And this is, I think, from my perspective, what makes gaming and crypto blockchain really interesting, because in a lot of ways, what is successful actually mirrors the real world, right? Like somebody like you could go in there and they could look at like local businesses and whatever time you happen to be in, you could be like, okay, I'm going to bring people here and maybe I want a free drink, or I'm going to bring people here and they're going to get something in return. And I guess in this case, they get a guided tour, they get to see new stuff, they get UPX in their account. And I mean, you get to hang out with people that enjoy doing what you're providing, right? So I think that's a really interesting take on it.
Yes, absolutely. Like you said, you get I always say UPX. So I say I'm probably the only person in the world that says UPX. You get the UPX, you get the Block Explorer, and that is actually something we got to decide for the tour. I worked with JC Block Unchained over there, and he said, what do you see your tour being inside the game? And so we worked together. We created the Block Explorers together, and just negotiated Spark into the deal to help with building. And again, I'm just a community member. I'm just a community member like everyone of you guys and everyone watching probably. And I think that's the fun of it all. These games and these platforms, we're able to use them to our advantage of what we mean for them to be. Maybe people aren't into just buying blue boxes, but they'd love to have their band play in there or something like that, or they're a musician and they just want their music out. So then we can play their music during the tour and things like that. So Upland Nights, we're able to facilitate all of these different artists and creators into this beautiful conglomerate of Upland Nights where everyone is uplifted. Everyone in our group is uplifted. If they have a project, we advertise it. If they want something, then we do the best we can to get it. Like Nasty Hooks, Nichiren sent you Nasty Hooks, and we promote them as much as possible. We play their music during our tours and over at Red Door, like you said, because the perpetuation of art and music is key to us at Upland Nights.
Right. I tried to search out your tours, and to be honest, I probably could have done a little bit better on keywords. But mostly what came out when I typed in Upland tours was like bird hunting somewhere high up in the altitudes. Like it was so. I just curious. Like, so if people want to find you and register for these tours and become part of this thing that you're providing, where do they go? Like, where can they find you guys?
Well, actually, now that we're actually part of the game, it's advertised right in the game. So you can just get your Upland account, and the tours are under the treasure button now. They are built into the game. They're programmed into the game. Upland Nights, we all research the facts. We send that to them a week ahead of time. We get all the properties ready and the tour written. They program it into the game. So all you have to do is get yourself an Upland account. And of course, you can join us over at Upland Nights on the Discord. Very easy to find, Upland Nights. And that's how you get involved. And you can float around in your blue box with us. And your custom blue box now with a knife. So well done us.
So I'm assuming that people like they can request certain things as well, and I'm guessing as well that these tours are only going to get bigger, right? Like now that there's new landmarks that that are coming out and things like that. Like, I mean, the pub crawl was a cool idea, but like I'm assuming that you guys are probably thinking a lot bigger. Like, what's next on the agenda for these tours? Do you have any interesting?
So we've contracted for 11 tours because we do them always on 11th. We say at nights we tour, we turn tours up to 11. So we always do them on the 11th. We contracted 11 tours. We've done 3 so far. Let's see. Our next one is A Hero is Drawn. Like I said, that will be all things comic book. That will actually be a very fun one and personal to us at Upland Nights because Mars, Utah is going to be releasing Metaforce, the first NFT comic book. So that is going to be super, super exciting. So that will be April 11th. After that, some of our tours are going to be chocolate because, who doesn't like chocolate? And San Francisco's just teeming with locations, not just Ghirardelli. You'd be surprised. Candy is very, very popular in San Francisco. And then after that, some music tours and some to be announced that we're keeping secret right now. So we have a future of 11 tours, which means 11 custom block explorers. We built that in so that you would have a commemorative piece of the game, an NFT mintable collectible. Upland Nights was the first tour that ever offered a mintable block explorer. So yeah, we're looking forward to 8 more tours. See, I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds really cool. And like one of the nice things, also, one of the people in the comments mentioned that you might actually, if you could increase your volume a little bit, they were having trouble hearing you. So if that's possible, I don't know. One of the interesting things I think about Upland is, for me, I'm sure most of you out there know what it is, but it's basically mapped to the real world, right? Like they've taken, like you said, it started in San Francisco, and they've taken the city of San Francisco, and now they branched out. I forget where that is, but is it Fresno? California has one now as well, and I think there's one in New York, and all of the streets and locations are the same, and they're looking at like building these things out in a variety of cities across the world. So I can kind of envision, again, it was interesting, like when I was in the chat earlier for Crypto Writer, they were actually talking about Upland, and they were saying like Kenny was saying like he can envision at some point where you have all of these people all over the world offering like similar ideas like what you guys are doing with tours of their cities that are connected to the gaming world. And there's almost this, like layover of the real world and the gaming world, right? And with the NFT space and everything that's going on, like I could imagine you potentially walking into a cafe or a chocolate factory or a sweet shop in San Francisco, and there being like a sign like with a QR code or something on the wall that like you can scan and it will take you to that place in the game, right? And it'll be like really quite interesting to see how that crosses over, like, what you guys are doing in San Francisco, but then in the broader ecosystem as well. So I think that's really cool. Greg and Dwayne, do you have anything that you maybe want to ask or comment upon?
Dwayne?
I think I think it's a theme on community building and these virtual worlds. What do you see as your biggest challenges of expanding your community?
I think the only thing that we're one of those people. It's very strange. We're one of the, I always say, talked about us as an entity, Upland Nights, and I don't think it has so much to do with a challenge to expand our community. As a facilitator of kindness, we do things, and then people gravitate around us. We've grown bigger because of who we are. And that's enough. And it's perfect. We had wonderful tours when we had 20 people. We had a great time. We had 687. So next time we'll triple that, most likely, and we'll still have a good time. And I think, as somebody had said, the tour was low pressure, and not it was not a challenge, as in you had to solve puzzles or things like that. And I think that's just the theme of Upland Nights. We are low pressure. It's, come have fun. We have games. We have pinball tournaments. If you're doing something good, people will come. If you build it, they will come. I didn't want to go there, but we did have a movie tour, so there you go.
Right on. That's yeah. We're finding the same thing, that when this server was turned on, this is not where we were headed. We were just Corey and I were looking for a place to interview people in the virtual world, because we live some distance apart. And so a Minecraft world seemed like a pretty good fit. We could build a structure and we could inhabit it and interview people online, and just be in the game. And it developed really quickly into a gratitude practice, where we put markers on the walls of the first building that we built, and that we quickly filled up that cathedral with gratitudes from the 20 or so people that came to the services every week. And then 6-7 months ago, it just exploded into a much bigger thing. And Corey had built a big, massive new cathedral that it features in a lot of the imagery of the Uplift world. And yeah, we built a community first. And so one of the things that surprised me is, in the past 60 days, as community cluster groups poured into the world and began building cool things, almost, I would say probably half of them have already put up some sort of little gratitude monument in their community cluster plot, so people that visit them can put up on the wall what they're grateful for. So we sort of infused gratitude into the whole thing, and that's our secret sauce. That gratitude and community action. People writing songs about the Uplift world, and people making art related to the Uplift world. It's not us. It's not the small group us of people that started this or are driving this. It's the community. It's the people that are pouring their love and interest and beauty into the thing. And we couldn't be happier. We're afraid of growing too fast. Actually, we're like, no, not yet. So I appreciate what you're doing. But now I want to go see Upland. Now I want to go. I want to get in there.
Yeah, we did a show with them like maybe a month or so ago, and it was funny because we had a couple from the team on there, and like Corey was like, being Corey, just in the game, like already registered, like running around trying to figure out like how to get his UPX tokens. Like he probably could have used that tour, to be honest, because he was like really confused when he first got in there. But yeah. So I'm not sure actually if you can answer this question or not, but it's on the bottom of the screen. When are you guys planning on integrating the fiat currency to every user? You may or may not have an answer to that. I'm not sure.
Well, seeing as I'm just a folk, right?
Yeah.
Just want to think. They don't tell me these things. No, I cannot answer that.
You don't want to spread rumors? Come on, that's what I do all the time. They don't tell me anything, so I just make shit up. That's what I do.
I'm just not telling you.
Okay.
I mean, you could take a page out of our book and you could just say before Ethereum 2.0. That's pretty much got you covered, I think. Like that's Corey's go-to line.
A coined phrase from the actual game developers, sometime in the near future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Then we have to struggle with the definition of near, because Jupiter is near us in relation to, Alpha Centauri, but it's still a pretty good hop. Yeah.
Are you citing rebellions again, Greg?
Yes, that's me. I am a troublemaker.
I mean, it sounds really cool what you guys are doing, and it's really interesting. I think that's a really interesting concept and a really unique concept. We talk a lot on the show about the difference between like a game and a metaverse, right? And there are all these metaverses that kind of built themselves out, where different people will come in and set up booths and stuff like that. But something that Upland is doing, I think something that Prospectors is doing, the Uplift world, like on an even bigger scale, I think, because we kind of decided to, you know, base it off of communities as opposed to the based off a map in the real world and then having the communities come in. It was like almost the opposite, right? Not good or bad in any way, just saying it was a different, you know, organizational structure from the beginning. So I think it's really interesting to see how these games have gotten such big followings. And I think that's part and parcel because of, you know, people like you who are essentially thinking outside of the box and saying, look, how can we get more engagement? Like, how can we get people to come in and have fun and enjoy playing this game, which, you know, is kind of, I think, what a lot of these other, you know, what these metaverses are struggling with, because they have all these people who are coming in, buying things to put up stuff, and then like they essentially have to get the community to register and like then come in and be part of that. Like, I'm even gonna, you know, kind of screw myself here, but this is, I think, one of the bigger problems with Voice as well, right? Like, Voice decided, like, they had a good idea. They decided they wanted to bring out this new social media platform, but it took them a little bit of time to roll it out beyond America. But even then, one of the problems was you've got to figure out a way to incentivize people that are coming from all of these other platforms. Whereas with Upland, you don't, right? Like, you have this way to be able to bring people into the community and see it. And the selling point is like, look, you can essentially come and see the virtual San Francisco, right? Like, you don't have to get on a plane. Like, you don't have to worry about COVID and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that was really cool. I really hope that more people go over and check out what you guys are doing, and you know, get some virtual chocolate and have a virtual wander. And I'm not going to put it in the link, but like, there is somewhere, if you find it, on our site, like the Upland, you know, Uplifters referral code. If you want to use that, that'd be really cool, but you don't have to. But use somebody's referral code, because if you use somebody's referral code, you actually do get a bonus. So you don't have to use ours, but find somebody. I'm sure Sapiku 18 has one as well on her site, and other people as well. So definitely, if you're not in the game and you need an introduction to it, go check out what Uplift Nights is doing and use somebody's referral code, because I do believe you get a little bit of a UPX bonus in there as well. So, and I guess with that, if you got nothing else, Sapiku.
No, I just, as some comment to somebody who was typing, they said they can't wait until they can get into those 3D virtual worlds when Upland becomes a 3D virtual world. And like you were just saying, you're able to tour those places and be inside. I mean, that's our vision. Like the San Francisco street tours that I've been on in real life. I can still call it that. And when you go around the museums and you have a walking tour and things like that. So that's what I'm really, really looking forward to. I think those will kick the tours up to even better than 11, if that's possible.
Nice. Yeah, I think like Upland is a really cool project in that like a lot of people don't even know that they're running on EOS.io, and they've done a really good job at marketing. And like you said, like that's going to be really cool at some point in time when you can go in and you can like see these 3D versions of things that actually exist in the real world, right? So what we do at the Uplift world is a little bit different. I mean, you can go see builds of the Parthenon, for example. Some people have built that out. Some are original builds, but I mean, if you want, you can put the Parthenon beside a half-sunken Statue of Liberty in the middle of the ocean, right? I mean, just hypothetically, not that that doesn't exist in the Uplift world, but
they do exist, just not next to each other. At least until we see what happens with the server migration. It could end up that way, but for now, yeah.
So, Greg, maybe we didn't talk about this, but I'm going to kind of, maybe we could, there's a few gratitudes in here, one from our friend Corey and one from a couple guests. So maybe, if you don't mind, we could actually start your mini tour in the cathedral.
We can't. I got something else I need to show off first, and I'm sorry that we didn't talk about that first, but somebody in the Telegram thread was and I promised them that I would do this. They wanted to talk about.
I hijacked it for the first 10 minutes. You can hijack now.
All right. So I promised somebody that I would show them something. This is Raj Olive in the comments was asking about sheep that are different colors. So this is the Chicken Ka transport hub, and I can't show you too much of the detail of it. We're telling a story here. We've made sort of a narrative existence here that involves Mesoamerican people succeeding technologically and instituting all sorts of modern and postmodern conveniences. So this is going to be like the center of the world. When you enter the Chicken Ka part of the Uplift world, this will be the first place. Sort of. There's another step to it, but this will be the stepping off point to all the different places you can go and visit from our server. So that's what's happening here. All my signs went blank. I don't know when that happened. I put words on all those signs last night, but I'm doing this because I'm going to do a flyby down the tracks here. When you look at these rail plots, place where you see two stacks of three light lanterns of the white lanterns there. Between those is one rail plot. So for those of you who are waiting to get into the Uplift world, you want to know how big your rail plot is going to be. 50 is between these tall two stacks of lanterns on the left-hand side. That's one rail plot. That's one rail plot. So you get an idea how big they are, and they'll stretch from bedrock up to the sky build limit. So you'll be able to build anywhere in there as long as you don't interfere with rail or foot traffic. These will be buildable. So people are going to put all sorts of crazy attractions and businesses and things on them. This is one of the quadrant intersections in Chicken Ka. So we're going to be selling land in all these places eventually. These will all develop out into neighborhoods. That's our plan for it. But we're coming up on a build here by our friend Russ, one of the elders of Chicken Ka, and it's made to look like a loom. You can actually have a loom in Minecraft where you do weaving. So this is basically just a giant Minecraft loom made into an industrial building. And also over on the side here, we're starting to see some iconography happen that's going to be related to Chicken Ka, which focuses on Mesoamerican life and existence. And of course, we have a giant stone chicken because we are Chicken Ka, and it doesn't mean chicken in the language it's in, but it kind of has become chickens have become our iconography. I think that happens in a lot of cultures where nobody really picks the giant penis iconography. It just happens. Ours just happens to be giant stone chickens. So there you go. So this is the banner factory. Oh, closed for maintenance. Loose sheep. What? Oh no! I gotta close the door. Oh geez. We don't want the sheep getting out. Sea lanterns. Okay, so oh my gosh, something broke in here, and the sheep are out running loose in the place. But essentially, each of these little modules that you see, I didn't realize it was broken. Houses sheep, and they come out dyed different colors. In other words, once you dye one sheep and you breed those sheep together, they make wool. They shear the wool off of the color of the sheep. So he's making enormous amounts, as you can see, of colored wool, and you can use that for mosaic and art properties. Wool is a great material. It comes in 16 different colors, so that's a pretty good color palette for a Minecraft world. But I promised Raj that I would show off. Yeah, that's all of the 16 colors of wool along the floor there. He asked something about colored sheep this morning, and I promised him that I'd show him this is what an industrial sheep shearing machine looks like in Minecraft, and it's crazy. But and I'm just bummed that it's not working this morning. I wish I'd thought to ask Russ about it. One of my favorite things about this whole build is if you focus on that QR code, it will actually, if you click it, it will take you to a link of the video of how he did this. So we've got builders now that are actually linking how they get things done using QR codes. And Boyd has a QR code that works that leads to their website. So anyway, I just wanted to show that off for just a quick minute that we got some pretty incredible creative minds at work in our world right now. And Russ made a giant sheep shearing machine because, what are you going to do with your time? So you want me to go to the cathedral next, Jimmy?
Yeah. I think it'd be cool as part of the mini tour to show that.
Sure. The one coordinate I didn't write down this morning, so give me a second here.
But it's really interesting. Well, you figure that out. Like these. It's funny. Like again, it's like Lego, right? And it's like people ask, like, why does it look like Lego? Like, why is it so blocky? But it's blocky in an almost artistic kind of way, right? Like it was designed to be that way. And so I think it's really interesting, how you can almost go on the internet and download plans or figure out plans, for something simple like a water elevator, which like good luck making it if you don't know how. is a lot of trial and error, or something really complex like a sheep shearing, dyeing, machine. So yeah.
So this is this is the cathedral. We call it the cathedral. There are actually two. This is Cathedral 2.0 that Corey built. Pretty much, he built that entire dome by hand. That big glass dome was all built block by Corey. No magic or hocus pocus involved. And it's the place we come every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. We do a YouTube broadcast where people put what they're grateful for on the walls, as you saw Jimmy do. And as I mentioned, I really love that that's caught on, that people are doing this all over the Uplift world. There, you'll find these little, whenever you find a block of like 3x4 wood and a chest full of signs, you'll know what to do. Everybody knows that that's where people are marking what they're grateful for in the world. And just to give folks a sense of how big a journey this is, all the way around here, week by week, people have been stopping in or watching the YouTube stream and putting on a marker what they're grateful for. This is where we started, and we've gone a little more than halfway around the entirety of this giant cathedral surface. It's pale blued out by Carl Sagan, no big deal. So yeah, we're actually, we're almost 3/4 of the way around the cathedral now with our gratitude markers. So Jimmy, you said there were a couple others you wanted to put down here?
Yeah, I think we should put some in the comments while we're here. It's always good to do this, and I think you're here. So I'm grateful for joining the Uplift community when I did. I not always get this name wrong, but Kawamota. So grateful for joining the Uplift community when I did. And
last name, I'm looking for the last name. I thought I saw
Motta.
Well, it's going to be tough to fit this.
I think you can just say Uplift when I did. It's okay.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
And you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna do another one too. Like, I don't never do these ones, but I'm grateful for Kawamota because he's awesome. That guy is a superstar. He's always like positive and having fun and enjoying time. And there's a lot of other cool people.
We've recruited him for a major new project too.
Yeah.
For the Shipletopia meme project. He's now going to be involved in that. Shipletopia is an enormous, amazing project that I can't say any more about. Sorry, but it's gonna make living in the Chicken Ka region of the Uplift a pretty cool place to be. It's gonna be like living in Disney World when we get going. So we're pretty excited about that.
And Corey in the comments will throw his gratitudes up as well. We kind of have to.
Who?
Corey.
Who's
Corey.
Who's that? I don't.
This guy sometimes hangs out. Good luck with this one because it's long. So let's see if we can break it up together. I'm grateful for Jimmy for this whole community, but oh man, am I grateful for Jimmy this morning. Thank you for putting me on the spot. That's awesome. But I love you, mate. You're awesome. So I'm
I got that.
Yeah. And there's a second part to that as well.
Oh, geez.
And Dwayne and the Crown community too. The Crown call was a part of the giant brainstorm that birthed the Uplift. So maybe grateful for Crown brainstorming, birthing the Uplift with D. I don't think all of that's going to fit, but yeah, you're implied, Dwayne. But yeah, I wasn't on that call, but
okay,
I'm sure you were, Dwayne, and
beautiful,
really cool. So you got a couple more short little things to show us on your Uplift tour. I think do you not, Greg? Maybe one more place that you wanted to?
Yeah, let me show off the beach I built for Dwayne. Let's get out there real quick. Let's see. While I'm thinking about it, in the comments, Crypto Papa, how can I start building in the Uplift world? Right now, Crypto Papa, you can't unless you belong to one of the community cluster groups that are already in the world and get permission from them to be in the world building. But soon, very soon, that's what we're telling everybody. Not the near future, but the immediate future. So,
and even then, we've kind of paused whitelisting for now.
Right.
Actually, So even if you are in there and you're doing some builds right now, I believe basically everything's going to be on pause this weekend. They're going to migrate to the new server to better optimize the experience of the community cluster plot, and hopefully that'll go over smoothly and hopefully be done by early next week. And then once all those details are filtered out, there will probably be the passports that will go out eventually, and hopefully, I know Corey and Greg and a lot of other people on the team, we really want to get people in here as fast as possible. So be patient and bear with us, but when you guys get in here, we're hoping that it's smooth and it doesn't, need zero maintenance whatsoever at all.
The Crown Development Office, which is our construction trailer for all of our projects that we're working on. And we built a giant Crown logo up into the sky that is visible from the 2D map or from here in Game Link. Get this off the screen. There we go. That's a little better. So that was a big deal and a lot of fun to build. While I'm showing that off, we put a farm under it. There's a wind turbine generator over there on the side, and there's a demonstration farm under here how to automate farming in the Uplift world, which is going to become important because when we all go to survival mode, people are going to need food. So we're growing wheat, carrots, and potatoes in here to feed the people that need feeding. Thinking of others, and a farmhouse. Lisa likes the farmhouse. When Lisa comes in here, she never wants to leave the farmhouse. She thinks that's the coolest thing there is. But I'm pretty proud of the other thing we did is over here on the side. We wanted to include Dwayne and CSX. Lisa particularly wanted to make sure we did that. And so we took their logo and we turned it into a tropical island that has coral reefs and a beach because we know they're very concerned with water conservation and water quality issues around the world. So we made CSX Beach over here where you can sit by the fire and enjoy the stars and the moon and the pretty view of stuff. There are also sea turtles, tropical fish, and dolphins that frequent the bay here. But I made the coral reef so you can see the brightly colored coral underneath the platform. There you go. There you go, sea turtle swimming around there. And right after I got this built, funny enough, people love a place that's clean and beautiful and comfortable and safe. And a family of native fishermen built their little shack over here. And look, we don't want to disturb them; they're sleeping, but they're in there taking a nap, and they'll be going out fishing later. See, there's the little fishing boats. So, not sure why, but they decided to take up residence here next to CS Beach. CSX Beach. Why wouldn't you want to live in a place that looked that cool? So, yeah. One of the things I want to make sure I mention is when people start rolling into the Uplift world, these main thoroughfare rail plots are going to have value. Basically, if you own one of these, you're going to make passive income anytime somebody travels across it, and they're going to make passive income for traveling. So that's what is incentivizing people to be in the Uplift world, is that they're going to earn a little tiny bit of wax for being in the world and moving around in it. And so what we're doing is making a series of things that make them want to come spend time in a place and walk around in it. So they earn crypto and the person that owns it earn crypto. But the rail plots are going to require some particular mechanics. And we're going to need everybody to start learning now how to build little off platforms like this. We're going to have an express that goes for long distances in one direction. And on the other side, it goes back the other direction. But these little side stations will allow you to get on and off them like a sort of like a bus, and then ride a separate rail that the people that own the plots along the rail built. I built this to get people out to the Crown Land Development Office demo land. So basically, you'll put a rail car down and ride out. When you come back, you'll go up the stairs and get on the main rails to ride to other places. The Chicken Ka region is 5,000 by 5,000 blocks. I rode around it yesterday in a train. It took me an hour and 12 minutes. So there's just sightseeing on the trains is going to be a pretty extraordinary thing, and I'm super excited to see how that mechanic pays off for players. People have been like, they say things in the comments like, "Oh, what if can I go across the land so I don't have to pay for the rail?" We're going to pay you to ride the rail. It's not like there's no get around. You're going to actually get benefited for using the rail system. You don't have to pay. But how will, if I'm the rail plot owner, then how will I make? You will also get paid out of the reward pool. That's why it was so important for us to build up a stout reward pool to start, so that we can benefit both the rail rider and the rail plot owner. That's the value of owning the rail plots. And funny, now they have higher value than the land, because people are recognizing that if they want people to come travel on their land, they're going to have to build something really cool that people want to come see or do, some experience that they want to engage in. We got all sorts of people planning different gamification ideas, gladiator fights. I have ideas because I'm on the Chicken Ka. I'm the mayor of Chicken Ka, and I'm not really at liberty to discuss our specific plans, but we have some things that we think are going to make people want to come and stay for hours, if not days, in our part of the world, and we'll be earning money from that. So,
and also some things that are going to make people want to join up for this tour and come and see cool stuff, I think.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous. I'm giving a VIP tour on Sunday to M Blue, and his dad is coming to town. And his dad has never, ever experienced Minecraft or any of these metaverse worlds. So I'm giving M Blue and his father a tour on Sunday. And now I'm finding out that there are a lot of VIPs and dignitaries coming along for the Zoom conference. And I'm like, I really do have to clean up my room because...
Yeah, you must be really nervous. This is like the third time you've said this.
I from the minute I got super busy with this, I've been meaning to do that, and I just keep not finding the time to do it. So I'm psyching myself up to actually clean the office by saying, well, we have to look spiffy for like the CEOs and other VIPs we have coming on board Sunday. So,
well, I mean, it's basically like Zoom, right? So like with Corona in Japan, I heard that there are a lot of businessmen now. They just get up, they put on a shirt and tie, and they just go to work without any pants on.
Oh, it's anybody's guess whether I'm wearing pants day to day on these tours.
So I got a couple more things I'd like to address.
Sure.
So one thing, again, similar to what Upland is doing with their UPX tokens, right? You people who move around in the game, they get rewarded, right? People who have property get rewarded. So I think these are going to be, reward-based system as opposed to an advertised-based system. I mean, might be ads, but it's not like Facebook or some of these other companies that just bombard you with things, right? Like they actually pay you for your time. Instead of become a time drain, in my opinion. Second thing I wanted to ask, because I kind of might have got this wrong, but I think one question was, are all Minecraft resource packs used locally, so you can use any shaders and textures you choose? Greg, do you want to maybe clarify that? Because
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You thought what was the?
No, I'm not really sure whether you have to download them or whether you just have to install them on your.
Okay, we're not using any shaders or the server. That's client side. So if you want shaders and you want texture packs, you can install them on your machine. They will appear in screenshots or video that you take, but they won't be manifested in the world. So things may look significantly different to other players than they look to you. That's how we ended up with the pink Empire State Building on one of the builds, because the block the guy used, he thought it looked really dark and mysterious and black. But why is the Empire State Building pink? It was apparently without shaders. It looks like pink stone. So it's granite, I think, appears pink in the game. So that was a hilarious happenstance. It looks cool as hell, but it's not the right color. So yes, you can use whatever shader packs or texture packs or even resource packs. Change your in-game experience in little tiny ways that are really useful. Like if you're using scaffolding, you can't, out of bamboo, you can't see what's below you. And there's a texture pack that takes the center out of the scaffolding, so you can look directly down and see what's below you from the scaffolding, which is, just little performance tweaks like that only appear client side. They don't affect the server.
So are these downloads, or are these
yes,
just something that you install?
Well, you have to download it and install it in your Minecraft installation.
Okay, sorry. So my comment is completely wrong, and I don't know how to delete that. So, but that's okay. Just ignore my comment and listen to people who are smarter.
I ignore the comments all the time.
Yeah, I know.
So it's not a problem.
No, that's why I those that can't do teach, and those that aren't smart enough to
My mom, a teacher, hates that saying. I said that to her once when I was about 12, and I'm still flinchy from what happened when I said it. So,
but I mean, it's the same, right? Like those who can't who can't appear on a podcast, they start their own.
sure.
So, Sepiku 18 or Dwayne, do you have anything maybe for Greg before we move on to the hackathon introduction portion of the show with Dwayne?
I just have one thing really quick. Wow. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
First of all, this is my this is my very first time seeing this tour, right?
Right.
Of Uplift. So there is a first reaction. It's very exciting, I know. I'll elaborate. Well, isn't the place just a whole piece of art? Just every last little corner of it, its own canvas that displays this art and education and a story. And
Well, not yet, but it will be. Well,
Yeah.
there are very few people in the world right now. Like less than 100 people have had their hand in the world, and we sold 3,000 land plots, and I don't even remember how many rail plots, all of which can be built on by the owners when they get in the world. And we are excited. Like your 50 by 50 rail plot, you can build anything you want on there. Like, so we think there's going to be all sorts of cartoon characters and giant fish and weird, hellscapes. We think riding the rails is going to be like this kaleidoscopic, weird experience. And we can't wait. We can't wait to see what people do with their little chunk of this place. And touring it is only going to get more and more exciting, because even with the limited number of people that are here, we've only been doing the tours for about 6 weeks. We'll fly to a place where we've toured before and go, oh, like something completely new went up in the last 2 days. So day by day, the amount of creative input just with a small team has been amazing, and we can't wait to see that times 1,000.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how many there are now, but I think there's about 50 different community plots that are active in the game right now. And like you said, it is a giant canvas of art. As our good friend M Blue, who is an artist himself, a musician and an artist himself, often points out. He said the Uplift is a place where people can come, and people that didn't know that they were artists can come and be artists.
Right.
I mean, you think about it like in terms of like Lego, like you have like really technical people that might be able to go on and like follow some kind of schematic to build something, or you have these people who just go in there and they're creative. So I mean, for example, like you guys could come in, you could build like a giant replica of San Francisco. Like it's not beyond, right? And we often like show little clips of various parts of the world, but like it's also become almost like this giant advertising space as well, right? Like this is block-based right now.
That's Greg flies over the giant block-based logo on top of their world.
So they created this, right? Like the plot that we were at this morning, there's a giant logo. Like there's logos all over the place, and these are 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, shown from the sky, shown from within. And so I think like what Sepiku 18, what I'm hearing interest from you is like you could actually have a real world artist come in and they could, number one, they could create a statue or something like a llama, for example, if they wanted. Or there's also ways to like overlay art like directly into the world so that it shows up. One of the people who's in the world now, she's doing like mosaics with the blocks, but there's also pictures that have been laid in from other artists in other places. So I think you're 100% right. For it basically is a giant art installation, or will become one, I think, in a way.
I'm going to plunge under here and go inside. This is the block-based quadrant, and I think this is like the most impressive thing I've ever seen in Minecraft. They built the city on the water,
yeah,
and in some places it's actually under the water. So they actually built. There's some retail shops and restaurants in this row, and I guess their plan is to have people occupy those. And we're going to have clickable signs that will link people out to things that will give them bits of cryptocurrency of different kinds. We don't have an internal cryptocurrency or token, so people are going to be free to reward with whatever token they want to on their in their block. But yeah, this is the block-based town. Look, they built a grocery store. It's just an extraordinary look. And then there's a construction crane, so there's obviously something new happening there. There's an underwater house that actually You can look in the windows from underwater and see how people live down here. You can go in the house and look around to the outside. Just phenomenal creativity. And they did this very quietly over a period of a couple of weeks. This is just the creative explosion that MBlue talks about. I always like showing this one off because it's one. Look, this is an office building. It's basically it's a floating office building with little office cubicles and.
I mean, like
my mind is blown, man.
Yeah, the attention to detail. Like there's little lamps and sofas and like coffee cups and stuff in there. It's great. So
our friend. Go ahead, Jim.
No, I was just gonna say, like, honestly, Seppuku 18, like, I really hope at some point that you come in and you like set up a little zone, like to promote your Upland tours in the Uplift. Like, it'd be great for you to set up like a little, a little plot, and have people come in and see what sorts of things that they might see on their tours, and then like be able to have that as a gateway to go into that direction as well, right? Like, this is the potential for me. People can come in and do whatever they want. This is amazing. This little mural, like, that's awesome. Can you show that mural again?
Sure. This is internal. This is a Minecraft art. This is not something one of our folks did. There's only a limited number of paintings that you can put up. The bad news is we found out that the paintings and item frames are not going to transfer well in the big migration that's going. So people are going to have to rebuild some of these things. But this art is internal to Minecraft. You can make custom art and put it on the walls. We have some really special new ways that we're going to be doing that, but that's yet to come. Let's see. So I guess this is what do we got? We got like conference centers. I think I have to push the button to get in. Yep, there we go. So there you go. We have conference rooms, and my read on this is these builders are going to be leasing out space. We talk about is it fractionalizing NFTs or what's the word I'm looking for? Where basically you can own an ownership interest in like one floor of a building in one of these builds. And there are 30 or 40 blocks where people are building things like what you're seeing here. This is not the only one. This is one of 20 or 30 pretty intensive builds that are going on, including our, and I try not to talk too much about Chicken Ka for two reasons. First of all, sounds like I'm promoting. Secondly, we don't want everybody to know what we're doing just yet because we want them to come explore it once the economy is turned on.
Oh, I never noticed this before. Sorry, I'm totally cutting you off, but can you go up and back a little bit? That's Japanese.
Yes.
That's Japanese. That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's a hotel. That's a Japanese hotel sign. I love it. That's great.
And it does have little functional rooms inside with beds and chairs and things like that.
That's sweet. I never noticed it before.
Yeah. So all right, that's I think I've shown off enough, but I said, the other reason we don't want to talk too much about Chicken Ka, we have some really cool creative stuff going on over there. Oh, look, somebody's built like a little country house out here in the corner. Like, oh, that's beautiful. There's some nice work there.
Yeah, it's a difference between like some of these hardcore builders and me. Like, I'm really good at tunneling under the ground and putting up glass, but like I'm hoping to get to this level someday, because it's amazing.
The other part about once the economy is turned on, see, this is the thing. We're all building things to encourage people to come spend time on our block and walk around and explore every room in it. The longer they're there, the more crypto we make, the more crypto they make. So, eye-catching things that bring people in, experiences that keep them coming back to your part of the world are going to be important. So yeah, if you want a tour, you can come into our Telegram channel. I'll drop it in the comment momentarily, but and you can hook up with UpliftGreg, and you can book a tour, and he'll take you around and show you some of the sites. I guess you can request different things. I mean, if you want to see awesome builds of cities, he can put some of those on the map. If you want to see, maybe some cool farms or some cool builds that people have done like for in-game economics and stuff, like he'll be able to show you that in time. Like we also I'll do beginner lessons for people that haven't used Minecraft before and want to learn how to dig up dirt blocks and build their first little hut. We can definitely do that in about an hour. So I'm happy to take somebody for a boot camp session.
I think I was on the first one, and it was super fun for
Yeah, yeah. You and Lisa Chandler, I think, were the first people I ever kind of showed how to do that. I sent EOS USA Michael on. I showed him how to break his first block. I went back 5 days later. He built a giant functional wooden roller coaster. Like I don't know how that happened, but he really caught on fast. So yeah.
Okay, so I guess what we need to we need to save some of these for the actual tours. As much as I know how much you love showing them all. And Dwayne, we need to give you the floor a little bit because I think you want to introduce what's going to happen with the hackathon. We talked about it a little bit before, but we never really got into the details. And I guess you're gonna break it down for us, right?
Yeah, sure. I was just going to comment on some of those builds. I see a lot of people from the space, from our communities, probably going into this space to even learn how to build instead of going to like outside and look at other YouTubes. So that little QR code on like how I built this, I think it's going to be really valuable. And then obviously the tokenomics, leaving it open for communities to bring in their tokens and be creative in that way is really exciting as well. So, and as always, Greg, awesome tours.
Yeah, we didn't talk much about Lisa and the Crownlandia project, but Lisa wants to create an economic model where people that are members of Crownlandia get paid a bit just for being in the game, right? To create gameplay experiences that pay them a little money, and maybe not even being in the game. This is one of the things that I didn't understand about her project is some of the people, maybe not the majority, but quite a few of the people involved in the Crownlandia idea don't have the resources. They don't have the ability to get into the Minecraft world. And so we want to find a way for them to see it and experience it that doesn't require them to download the Minecraft Java edition, pay for a license, have a PC. So we're working on some pretty interesting ways of including those folks who don't have a way to physically inhabit our digital world. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's awesome. DACathon. Yay. I was going to start by just giving today's our deadline for submissions for the DACathon portion. I'm really glad to hear that Uplift building is paused, so it's going to give all those creative people time to actually, work on their DACathon project for the weekend. And I just thought maybe it'd be good to go over some of the, not in detail, but just go over some of the projects that have been submitted for the previous 2 DACathons. So the first one was way back in January of 2020. That was the birth of MetaDAC. So the first whole portion of that DACathon was coming together and actually forming a DAC that formed MetaDAC. So before we started that DACathon, we didn't have a name for the DAC. We didn't have a mission. We didn't know who the participants were. We didn't know who was going to show up. We asked the community like, hey, you can throw in some funds into this pool. And it was a huge success. We had different communities from Vigor, Telos. I'm probably missing a bunch, but overwhelming reward pool, which we do have again this time. But I just wanted to go over to give people an idea of some of the cool projects that were submitted that you probably recognize today, because just to showcase that a bunch of people with some time can put together a project and don't need a big entity to fund it. They don't need well, I'm just impressed with the community that they came together, pulled a bunch of funds together, and a lot of these projects, you'll see in the ecosystem today. So if my eyes work here, so some of the first rounds we had.
So Dwayne, if you want, you're able to share your screen. It's up to you.
I think this one I'll just read because I have too many things open.
Okay.
But the first hackathon we had Consortium. By Vlad. Really exciting that we're now using, his tool for this hackathon to actually vote for, to take a consensus from the community. So whoever registers for the hackathon gets to vote on whose project they feel is the best. And we're actually using that tool. So that's really exciting to see. We had Michael Yates back then do a project called the Augmented Bonding Curve. We had D-Board by June, sort of a pre-DAC to sort out your ideas. We had a Telegram voting bot by Max. We had Time Bank by Lucas, who's really passionate about and is continuing that project. That was the birth of, maybe not the birth, but Lisa put in the Crownlandia project at that time. We also had BossCore, Board of Voting Plan, and Ithaca. And out of that, first, just to give them some shout outs, we had Daclify. The winners of that Dacathon, Daclify, we see that Daclify has actually created a framework for a working DAC, and that's what Boyd is using to manage their DAC. So, pretty incredible. Augmented Bonding, Curve One, Crownlandia, Time Bank, and then we had a community prize for Ithaca. The second Dacathon was in March of this last year, and some of the projects there was the NFT DApp funding project. John from Boyd put a project on DeFi dashboard. Max and myself put a project up to reward people that burnt NFTs. Lisa had a DAC directory project. We had community lottery staking, social scoring systems, franchising, and a language project by Lucas. So it gives you an idea. The second Dacathon, was more around DeFi. And I'm sure you probably would guess by now that this Dacathon was centered around gaming. And if you look at who's hosted it and some of the themes, I would expect that we'll probably see some projects, wanting to put something together with Uplift, or there's this other game that people are talking about. I'm not too sure about it, Alien Worlds. And I'm sure there's going to be, some gamification or something, around, that. And not that it has to be, but I'm expecting there probably will be. So the format, today is the deadline for submissions. We're going to come together on Tuesday to present those submissions. And if you're not a developer, I wouldn't shy away from putting together a project. I remember the first Dacathon, Lisa was kind of voicing concerns that, I'm not a techie to really build out a full project. And we just said, no, we really think your project is almost like a pre-DAC, this Crownlandia. And she won third place. So you don't need to have the full project built out. If you look at some of the past winners, some of them had, started with the submission and actually had a working project. That's just a bonus. That's just really, really nice. If you're at that capacity and can give something to the community, you've probably, if you've listened in, you've probably maybe heard some of the needs of the community. So yeah, I just really would say, be creative, put in a submission. There is a growing reward pool, and one way that reward pool is growing is for everyone to enter, right now to register. So to do that, go to dacathon.com. Obviously, we put all this content out there that you can get. You didn't have to register to participate in this online event, but it is what's fueled these, the whole prize pool. And you will be rewarded for putting in some wax or some EOS into the prize pool. We have a growing pot of NFTs that just, helping the pot grow by registering. NFTs will be raining down on you. So more so than ever, obviously NFTs a little bit, we didn't have that option in our first Dacathon, but we have a lot of community groups that have been throwing in prizes to the pool just to reward you. So I would guess that, you might walk away with more value in NFTs than just even what you throw into the pool. So please support it. And for creative people, programmers, someone just with an idea, even if you think it's not, complete, or, it's, someone else might have a better idea. This was a nice forum to get feedback, get your name recognized. We've seen people like Lucas, and a lot of the, John from Boyd, a lot of people that have submitted, projects on both of these. And I bet you if I asked Lucas, just putting himself out there and getting feedback because people saw that project has really expanded where he wants to go with his project. So I think the value is just throw something in there, even if you're not confident that it's finished, could work. I think the feedback from the community is super valuable. So I think that's it.
And like you mentioned, right? Like Lisa's coffee shop, right? Like that was like probably a really out of the box idea, but people loved it, right? Like they really like ate it up, right? It was something that hit home, and we're finding that a lot. I think Greg as well in this space, and probably you too, Seppuku 18 in Upland. Like if you go onto Twitter or Telegram, sometimes the sentiment is really negative, but if you look between the hood of what the communities are creating, like we see this all the time on this show and in the Uplift channel and Uplift art channel. There's certain communities that have rallied behind these projects, Alien Worlds right now, Upland as well. The Crown DAC-a-thon's going on, so a lot of things happening there too that are just so positive and so like warm and receptive, and they want this to be their world, right? Like they want this to be a world that they can come into and they can feel like they've accomplished something, whether it's something that has to do with developing, or whether it's something that has to do with just being a part of a community. Because I think we're losing that, right? Like we're more connected than we've ever been in a way, but there's not that much connection in the synapses that fire between those devices. So I think we're crypto people, we're gaming people. We are in this idea now where we want to create meeting places for people or ways for people to experience this together. I mean, I'm sure Upland is a great game. Like I'm sure it's awesome. I'm sure it's super fun for a while. But if you're just playing a game by yourself for a while, then it just becomes a game, right? It's when you bring those people together and they can meet new people, right? They can go around and tour these places. We have this with the community clusters. Like we had an awesome episode that wasn't on our channel, but was done by Any Observation and Ken Bozak, like two titans in the space that just went into the Uplift world and decided to play together, and people like tuned in, right? You have Lisa over there at Crown. She put out this proposal now, like Lisa's coffee shop channel is like exploding. It's booming. People go in there, they say good morning every morning. They wake up, there's gifts flying around. Like it's really cool. So I think like you said, don't worry about whether you're a developer or not. Don't worry about like whether your idea is super smart or not, because they don't have to be. It's about community, and if you're interested in it, I like to think of it kind of like troubleshooting some problem on my computer. When I have a problem on my computer, I don't call the help desk. I like search online what the problem is, and 9 times out of 10, somebody had already had the problem and answered it, right? So
Jimmy, I've got to drop out here. I just want to say thank you, Seppuku 18 and Dwayne for joining us. And,
sure, thank you, Greg. We'll see you again sometime soon. Always
got a real world thing I got to go do, so I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you in the Uplift.
But yeah, like I think just to ring through that sentiment, right? Whatever your idea is, bring it,
Yeah. And we had some very exciting calls this week. And, I mentioned before people being vulnerable. And one of the comments from a really active community member, David, was he was saying, wow, I never knew I could talk about my real passions to techie people, and that this community is just so different. I during my grad school, I couldn't talk about passions of permaculture and stuff. People would just walk away. So it's really interesting that, a lot of the discussions that we get into is sharing the other passions we have outside of this space. And the more times we talk about it, it's remarkable how many people go, well, I'm interested in that. Just, the discussion yesterday, once again, permaculture came up, and there was a few other people going, yeah, I have this pond. And then it got into like, hey, that's how we should be building in these things, this whole environment. So it's just interesting, just dropping a few things about yourself and what you're passionate about seems to resonate more than ever in these communities, because you know why? It's a community. You know, it might be that somehow NFTs and this YouTube channel and a DACathon and EOS or Wax got us together, but it's really just sharing and being vulnerable and open. You know, what I heard today, these tours, it's, you know, how do you want to expand? It's like, we don't have to expand. We have to be ourselves and have a fun space. Like, that's the last thing we're worried about. Like, I'm not going to stress about expansion and scaling in this is fun, and that's what's resonating people to come over. So that was the best, you know, that just made my heart, you know, feel so good to go, yes, like, we're not concerned about what normal business metrics would be, and that's what's coming through and resonating. So I would, you know, if you're searching for, you know, I guess you don't have to search for a project. You know, do what you're passionate about, throw it up against the wall, and you do have a community of people that, you know, aren't judgmental, and they are taking the time to give good feedback. So yeah, I really appreciate everyone that's done this in this whole space up, you know, or this whole DACathon is put themselves out there, shared some time, shared some life experiences, and it's exciting. Like, at the beginning of this series, I didn't know Jimmy was so passionate about similar things, and just bringing up permaculture. Like, we're going to, you know, we know that now every time we bring that up, there's another person going, wait a minute, these guys are into certain things, and you know, so it's really exciting to spend the time to, you know, open up, be vulnerable, and yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that. Thanks for everyone for participating. And I guess one more plug, though, do go out and register. You know, you've seen, you know, incredible amounts of time and energy from passionate people. No one's getting paid to do this. This is volunteer. You know, we all are passionate about the space, and we really feel that DACs are a nice, equitable way for you to have a voice, so that there's not a top-down control in these new communities that we create. So, you know, if you got any value out of it, you know, please support the prize pool. Go to dacathon.com. If you'd like to participate and have a project and don't have the means to do that, we have a very giving community as well. If you really want to participate and just don't have that EOS and Wax in your wallet, you know, post something in the Crown channel, and you'll be surprised how much support you get as well. So, and thank you for allowing the space and you know, letting, you know, the DACathon take over, you know, your show for the for the last week. It's really been neat to see how it's, you know, the community. You know, it's really a decentralized community when you have all these channels stepping up to support this common theme, and it's it's been really exciting and really grateful.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, I should end it there, but I'm not going to. I have 2 or 3 things to say. It always happens with you. You always make me say more, and I speak a lot as it is. But anyway, yeah, it's cool. You know, like, on the permaculture thing, right? Like, we got into the stuff in Haiti with Uplift Art, and Blue always brought it up, you know, because he knew that I was into it. We talked a lot about it, and you know, one of the first articles I ever wrote in the space was how permaculture and blockchain could collide. And when we did the flyover of this show's plot in the Uplift world, the map randomly generates, and it was this like cool little grove with all these trees. And I said to Corey, I'm like, dude, I'm so gonna build a permaculture orchard here. And he's like, yeah, done. He's like, let's do it. Like, it was really funny. Like, I thought it was really interesting. And the second thing I wanted to say, the second thing I'm gonna say, it's the third thing, but again, go into the Crown community Telegram. If you really, you know, as was mentioned before, as Greg mentioned before, with the Uplift world, there's a lot of people in the Crown community that want to come and be part of that Crownlandia portion of it, but they just don't have the resources, right? So they're actually looking at ways to be able to create maybe a different experience. You might not actually be able to come in and build, but you'll still be able to experience it together. And so I second that. The Crown community is a very giving community. So go in there if you want to register for the DACathon and you know, talk to the people, meet some of the people in there. They're a really nice community of people. You guys have done a really good job. You've been as fortunate as us in that regard, I think. And now our communities are kind of starting to overlap as they do, and I'm really happy about that as well. You know, taking over the show, not even an issue at all. I mean, it's amazing. I love being on here with you, but like some of the guests, and it's just really fun to do something different. And finally, the last thing I wanted to say, when I was listening to you speak, because you are really an eloquent speaker, Dwayne, about passions and things like that. I mean, I can resonate and relate to you about the permaculture thing, but it's funny because I was thinking about this a little bit in the back of my mind when Sepiku 18 was giving the overview of what she's doing with the tours, and Max was in the comments and he was bringing up chocolate, and you were talking about how San Francisco has the best chocolate, and you can see like the passion in her voice, not only for the tours that she's giving, not only for the Upland world, like the Upland you know, ecosystem that she's a part of, but also like her city and having that city represented, you know, on a server, on the internet, right? So I think, you know, you bring up a really good point about that passionate, being able to search out and find people. And I think what's especially cool about the Upland tour as well is that passion can actually resonate further than it would be without it, because you're going to have people that aren't able to actually get to San Francisco ever. Right. And they're going to be able to come in and they're going to be able to see that spirit. They're going to be able to see those places. They're going to be able to hear the passion in that voice. Right. And yeah, like the permaculture thing for me, Dwayne, it's similar. People are going to look at it and they're going to be like, yeah, okay, this actually makes sense. When I'm not seeing it as like boxed and sold, and when I'm not like walking by a tourist company where they're asking me for like, you know, I don't know how much a trip, it depends on where you are, but like, you know, potentially like, you know, $2,000 or $3,000 if you're beyond the States to get to San Francisco. Plus it's a high class city once you find the places to stay, plus the visa problems, like now with the COVID and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's just a really interesting time that we're living in. And I think, you know, like you said, building the community, having these tours, having people come together, to converse, have fun, develop things, vote on things that other people have developed on. Like, it's a really amazing time to be here with the two of you and Greg and all of the people who are in the comments. Reddish Fox, can I be a tour guide? You know, in the Uplift world, I'm guessing right now, no, because, you know, we're not even close to, you know, getting that up off the ground. I don't know, Sepiku, if things take off for you guys. Are you guys going to be bringing in more tour guides?
So here's the thing. I cannot officially speak for Upland, but anything is possible in the metaverse, right? We did it. If they come to Upland Nights and say, hey, can we have a tour about this? Or I know so much about this or that, mob guys in New York, then yeah, bring us your ideas. We'll welcome you. You can be on the show. It's really just, isn't it all about community? Like you were saying, Dwayne and Jimmy, it's about elevating the community and parlaying love and passion for things and people into a metaverse. So the more the merrier. Come over. We'll hook you up.